everybody? It is Wednesday, hump day on the number one form, number one source, number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Touchdown, Alabama Magazine, bringing this to you from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming you the show on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead and right now drop a thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you can have all of your entertainment on your favorite program, that being Crimson Tide football. We also got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. Crimson Tide taking on Texas A&M, the Aggies, and Jimbo Fisher down there at Kyle Field, College Station, Texas on Saturday. CBS will have the call 7 p.m. Central Time, and that's going to be an outstanding matchup right there. Now, we only did the 7 p.m. show for yesterday and today. It'll be the only 2 days. We'll be going live at 7. We return to going live at 6 p.m. Central Time on Friday of this week, and then moving forward back to our natural time at 6 p.m. But definitely want to hear from you guys today. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. That is the number to dial to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely want to hear from you. Got a lot of things to get into on today. Shouting out my man John Ivory in the production studio, doing his thing as he does each and every time. And a little bit later on in the show, I'll be joined live by a good friend of mine, Mr. Mark Passwaters, who covers Texas A&M for AggieYale.com. That is AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network, going behind enemy lines here for a moment. The Daily Super Chat goal, $75. Daily Super Chat goal. Appreciate the love and the support coming from each and every last one of you. But we jump into topic number one here of the conversation, and I know U.S. fans are tired of this whole next man up statement, next man up slogan, next man up saying, but it is next man up again for Alabama football. And just shortly after we were saying this, in terms of Jase McClellan, the sophomore running back who will miss the remainder of the season with a knee injury that required surgery, we are saying the exact same thing about sophomore outside linebacker Drew Sanders out of Texas. Now, the good thing for Sanders is it's not season ending. No, he's okay. Had the hand injury. I don't know if it came whether during the Ole Miss game or during Monday's practice. I'm not quite sure, just due to he played the entire matchup against the Rebels, so don't really know where the hand injury made its way into the picture. But according to Coach Saban today in the SEC coaches teleconference, he did provide the update on Sanders and stating that it was a hand injury for Drew that needed surgery, that required surgery. So right now, the young man is listed as game to game in terms of, how they are evaluating him. Now, of course, Bama's got, some guys that can step up. They've got some guys that can go in there and get things popping and get things happening. And this is the reason why Saban has recruited at the clip that he has at just various positions, because injuries happen. Injuries are a part of football. We can't stand it. We hate it. It sucks. I know for some of you it was, Steven, that's why Baloo and Ray are here. They're supposed to be stopping this. They're supposed to be putting an end to this. Why are all these injuries back happening again? Sometimes injuries just happen. It's football. It's a part of life. To say that football will never have injuries is saying you will never flunk a test. I mean, it's wishful thinking to feel like you would never flunk a test. But it doesn't matter if it's elementary school, high school, college, or test in life, you are going to flunk a test. That's how the lessons are learned. That's how the mistakes are rectified. You're going to flunk a test. It's the same thing here in football. Injuries are a part of life. They're part of football. It's part of the fabric. It's going to happen. So that's why You have to have those players that you trust. You have to have those players that you have recruited and that you feel like we can put so-and-so in, and we believe they can continue the forward trajectory. We can put so-and-so in, and we believe they can continue the forward progress in helping this program play winning football. Now, for Sanders, he was starting to come into his own at outside linebacker, especially a week ago against Ole Miss. 5 tackles, 2 quarterback hurries. Yes, he did not have a ton of tackles, but he was creating a lot of havoc in the backfield when you discuss Jerrion Ely, Snoop Connor. They didn't have any type of running lanes because of Drew Sanders. And then Matt Corral was harassed all game long by Drew Sanders. So a young man that was definitely coming into his own, but once again will be evaluated on a game-to-game basis with this hand injury. So this leaves you with 3 guys to choose from for the Crimson Tide, and those 3 guys, you have King Wakuda, who is a junior from the state of Georgia, former 4-star in the 2019 class, and then you have the 2 5-stars. You have Chris Braswell, who came in the 2020 class out of Maryland, and then you have Dallas Turner, who came in this recent class from South Florida. All 3 guys athletic, all 3 guys rangy, all 3 guys pass rushers, all 3 guys physical, all 3 guys can stop the run. They all bring something different here to the table. So starting this off with Wakuda, he's the oldest of the group. Once again, junior from the state of Georgia, 6'5", 240 pounds. He's got speed. He's got range. He's got athleticism. He can stop the run. He can put pressure on the quarterback. He had a huge tackle for loss in Alabama's second game of the season against Mercer. So Wakuda can do some things. Now, to me, because you're going down to a uniquely hostile environment, cult-type atmosphere when you talk Kyle Field and in College Station, Texas, I would not mind seeing Wakuda getting the start just due to he has all of the knowledge of the system. He has all of the strategy of the defensive system. When you talk about Bama football, but when you look at the other 2 guys, Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner, they have a bit more upside. They have a bit more of a higher ceiling. They have a bit more potential than what Wakuda has. So as you look at Chris Braswell here, here's a young man. When he came in from St. Francis Academy, he was 6'3", 220 pounds. He added 20 more pounds in the offseason, and this was huge because now at 6'3", 240, he can sustain strength at the mesh point. He can sustain strength at the point of attack in terms of not allowing himself to be blocked in by 300-plus pound offensive linemen. He can disengage himself from those blocks, shed those blocks, and still keep his eyes on attacking the football, getting to whomever has that ball. Going back to how he performed in the spring game, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble off Bryce Young that Jalen Moody recovered for a touchdown. Coach Saban mentioned after the A-Day game, we got to work in a role for Braswell. We have to get him on the field because he's quick-twitched. He's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of explosiveness. He's got big play potential at the linebacker position. So adding on that extra 20 pounds of muscle makes him durable when you look at playing at that strong side, that linebacker position. But as we go now, Dallas Turner, to me, this guy has the most potential. He has the highest ceiling. He's got the most explosiveness. Coach Saban mentioned, we, being Alabama, recruited Dallas Turner for a reason. He has all of those tools that you want to see from an outside linebacker, from a pass rushing perspective here. And remember, when Turner came to Alabama, his motivation was seeing what Will Anderson did the year prior as a freshman in 2020. Watching Will Anderson have 10.5 tackles for loss, watching him have 7 sacks, watching the young man from Georgia with 8 quarterback hurries, it motivated Turner to feel like, okay, if Will Anderson can do it, then nothing's stopping me from signing my national letter of intent for the Crimson Tide to come in here, and I can do the same things that he did. And Turner at 6'4", 245 pounds, played at two legendary high schools in Florida when you discuss American Heritage High School and St. Thomas Aquinas High School. So the young man has big ability. The young man has marquee stud, marquee showstopper written all on him. And during Saban's press conference today, he spoke on, Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner. They have big time potential. We're going to try to get both of these two on the field. We're going to try to work both of these two into the game. We're going to try to work both of these two into the action. And going back to something that U.S. fans have talked about, Bama's got to start rotating more players in there. And you guys have talked about that. You rotate your guys. You keep bodies fresh. You get guys experience. So when you face situations like what we're seeing here with Drew Sanders, you can go to your bench, you can go to your depth and say, you know what? It hurts having Drew Sanders out. It sucks not having Drew on the field, but we have a King Wakuda that we've rotated in. We like him. We have a Chris Braswell, of whom we rotated in. We like him. And we have a Dallas Turner, of whom we've been working with as well, and we like him also. So having that fresh rotation, having that fresh crop of players that you can pick and choose from that you believe can go out there and get the job done. So Alabama on its third option, on its third string at outside linebacker, in particular strong side, Sam linebacker. And it's crazy how you started the year off with Christopher Allen. And it was going to be Chris Allen's big year. My boy, it was going to be his big year. And he started off well against Miami. Unfortunately, the foot injury. But then you go, you know what? It hurts not having Chris Allen. But Drew Sanders is going to come up. And Drew was playing extremely well, especially against Ole Miss last week. And now there's an injury to Sanders. Alabama evaluating him on a game-by-game process. Hopefully he'll be back next week. We shall see what happens. But now it's on its third option at the strong side linebacker position. And you've got King Wakuda, you've got Chris Braswell, you've got Dallas Turner. Hopefully we see all of these student athletes on the field getting that opportunity, but should be interesting. Next man up, the saga continues, this time on the defensive side of the football. But we go to a break right now, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your chats, your tweets, your interactions. A conversation with you, the Bama Nation, comes after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Throw them foes up.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we are back into the action here, folks, on a Wednesday hump day, number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama magazine. Crimson Tide taking on Texas A&M on Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. CBS will have the call from Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. At one point in time, this was looked at as the game of the year in the SEC. But now after 2 losses for the Aggies, the hype has really died down when it comes to that matchup. Still should be a pretty entertaining one nonetheless. We got a couple of super chats here to get to. So how about my man Spencer Revley with that $5 donation starting us off here on the show. Appreciate the love from Spencer. Behind him we got my man Bill, Big Bill from New York. That $5 coming from him. And the man Cliff Reese. $5 coming from Cliff Reese as well. Appreciate the love from all of you. Daily Super Chat Go, $75 daily Super Chat Go there. I know you guys have seen where the last 2 shows it's been a 7 o'clock starting time, but that was only for the Monday show and this show. Only for those 2 shows. On Friday, we go back to starting 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern time. So 6 Central, 6 p.m. Central on YouTube. We go back to that time on Friday and moving forward from there. But appreciate you guys checking us out here on this evening. We go to the phone lines and we'll take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We grab a call right here. You are live on the show. What's going on? How you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
David from Georgia, and I'm feeling fabulous, Steve. And I've this is the first time I ever caught you live for whatever reason, so shame on me. And I've probably been watching you all the way back since the beginning of the show. But let me just say a couple of things. And first of all, don't let it go to your head, but you're probably the best in the business. The other 2 things is Bill in New York, and I think it's Robert in Mobile. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been watching Alabama all the way back to Bear Bryant. I like to think I know a lot about Alabama and how they play, but those 2 guys, they're a mile ahead of me. Your callers are just so they see everything, and that's great for all of us. We all win. What I wanted to throw out there is injuries. When Scott Cochran left, we were saying, gee, maybe it's not so bad because we really need to get some people in here that can maybe reduce our injuries in the long run. That sound about right? And so Cochran's been gone for a couple of years, but these 2 new guys, we brought them in for speed, and there's some couple other things, and the whole idea was kind of reduce injuries. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I got to tell you, I don't see it. The thing when we first got Saban, the thing our players probably wasn't as good as some of the other teams out there's players, but we won in the trenches. Okay, we were stronger, faster, quicker in the trenches, and now I don't know that we are stronger, quicker and faster in the trenches. And that's when, like Scott, when Cochran was here. But I hope, everybody proves me wrong, but I don't see how this new strength and conditioning guys have reduced our injuries. And you'll say, well, the other day was, a hand injury. And the other thing is, when you start take a position, you start dipping into the depth. How much do you lose each time you go into that depth? And Saban always could figure out, how to fill it in. But anyway, that's it, man. And I sure enjoyed you guys. And I hated I hadn't talked and called you guys a couple of years ago because, man, y'all been perfect, right on the money.
Appreciate that thought right there. And going back to his thoughts on Scott Cochran, it was different then. I know Coach Cochran was a master motivator in terms of getting the guys' mind right for each game, but I wouldn't really say the injuries are back on Cochran level yet, because when Coach Cochran was here, you had guys that would trip and fall and get hurt. And this was not even in contact drills. This was not even in practice. I mean, guys would literally trip and fall and get hurt and be out for the year just doing non-contact stuff. So Ballou and Ray have been fine. They've been fine. It's football. Injuries happen. It's football. But this is why Coach Saban recruits the way he does. We take this call right here. You are live on the show. What's going on? What's happening? How you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. How you doing, brother?
Bill, I'm doing great, and yourself?
We're all right. You know, first I want to thank the previous caller. You know, I'm not as smart as he thinks I am. As a matter of fact, I went to Martin Van Buren High School and Suffolk Community College, so I don't have that great resume. But anyway, I'm concerned about the loss of Drew Sanders, and I'll tell you why. I mean, we lost Chris Allen, and this man stepped in like he looked like he really knew the position. And I think Chris Allen is going to be a first-round draft pick, but this guy really did cover it. And I know we got the guys to back him up, but I think it's a concern. I also think that Texas A&M might have been looking past their game last week, and maybe your guest can tell us more about that. But it seems to me as though they were looking, you know, they're waiting for us. You know, but the thing is, from what I heard, they have 2 injuries at cornerback, and that's what I heard. Now, I don't know, but I'm thinking this is the exact time for Bryce to really step up, to really just step up and take over this game. Because if we win this game, it shouldn't be too hard from here. We could just go right in and do what we got to do. And I trust the coaches, and I really, you know, I trust the team. And one more time, I'm going to tell you what you do is great, and thanks. And once again, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely, Bill from New York with great thoughts right there. It is concerning not having Drew Sanders for the Texas A&M game for the very reason of he was growing. He was growing. He was getting better and better and better at that outside linebacker spot. Thankfully, it's not a season-ending injury. He can come back, whether it be next week or the week after that. So thankfully, it's not season-ending, but we will definitely have our eyes on Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell, and other guys at that spot. We grab a call here. You are live on the show on a Wednesday. What's popping? What's going on? How you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, it's your boy Coach Smooth, better known as Senator Hines. Man, what's going on, brother?
Doing great, my man. What's happening with you?
Nothing much, man. And I just want to piggyback off the last 2 calls, man. And one thing I did want to address, and I guess it coincides with what you were saying, when it came to strength and conditioning, I think people get it mixed up. Strength and conditioning coaches don't necessarily prevent injuries. What they do is they're there to continue to help these young men who are going through probably the most change that their body's going to go through during their time at college. Coming, you know, out of high school, adjusting to the schedule, adjusting to the grind of the game, especially at the D1 level, at the level Alabama is at, where you go from being the strongest guy in the locker room to being, you know, the 4th or 5th strongest guy in your position coming in as a freshman. You know, so it's one of those things where guys' bodies, it takes months to adjust to. That's why you don't see a lot of players that come in as natural on-field athletes where they come in, they can't come in and perform the same level or the same way that they did at the high school level because physically their body's adjusting to, you know, 8 to 12 more pounds of muscle that they put on because of the new strength and conditioning program. And with that, you know, you have slight injuries, you have slight tweaks and pulls here because your body is adjusting and continuously evolving. So you have specialists that come in that teach our players how to recover from these things. They give them new methods of, you know, building their speed, not necessarily preventing injuries. They give you preventive measures and maintenance things to do. You know, they put us through therapy and all that stuff, physical therapy. But on the field injuries, we were having, like you said, Stephen, we were having more off the field injuries when Scott Cochran was here. Y'all got to remember when Scott Cochran, right before he left, we lost a whole starting lineup of defensive of linebackers and defensive linemen because of off-season workout program, you know, that Scott Cochran refused to evolve. You know, there was new studies and new experimental things coming in that people were recommending for people to try athletes. They were doing it at the professional level. Scott Cochran refused to evolve. And if you look at University of Georgia roster right now, they're still having that effect. Even though Scott Cochran is not the strength and conditioning coordinator, he is very heavily involved in that program, in that strength and conditioning program, before he took his break. So we gotta just look at the bigger picture. It's football. Guys are injured right now. Are they too injured to play? That's the question. It's not ever are you healthy or are you not injured. Is how injured are you, and is your injury going to keep you from playing? And so Drew Sanders is probably experiencing one of those things to where he literally can't go. But if he could wrap it up and club it up, he would go. So, and defensively, I think we're going to adjust. People forget Jalen Moody. He played outside linebacker coming into Alabama. So who knows? We might get to see him get down and rush from the edge, which is what his strength was, rushing off the edge coming into Alabama. So I'm excited to see what happens. A&M is not a team that I'm really scared of, but I feel like we can handle business, and coach and have our guys ready. Roll Tide, everybody in the chat. Shout out to the Blue Ridge game. TDA is the best. Steven, you, John, Justin, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Shout out Big Denny Bice. You the man too, bro. I'm out, Steven.
Great call there from Senator. Some good thoughts there from him when it comes down to strength and conditioning, among other things, for Alabama. We got some super chats to get to right here. So we got Matt. Is that Mattress Matt? We got Mattress Matt in here with that $5 donation helping us out here on the show, Mattress Matt. And then my man William Bryant out of Iowa, that 50-piece, that $50 donation helping us out here on the show, showing us that love. So appreciate Mattress Matt and William Bryant helping us out here on the show. You continue to get your thoughts in here. 205-448-1358. That's the number right there to call in, 205-448-1358. We go to a topic here, and that would be the time and network for Alabama-Mississippi State has been announced for next week, actually. So the game will be on ESPN, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Starkville, Mississippi on next week. Alabama, Mississippi State, Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff. ESPN will have the call there on the match between the Crimson Tide and the Bulldogs. So for all my callers, hold through the break. Hold through. We'll call back in 10 minutes. Call back in 10 minutes. We'll be back with you on the phone lines in 10 minutes. So we're going to take a break right here. Upon our return, we sit down with my man Mark Passwaters, who covers Texas A&M for AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. We go behind enemy lines, but talk the Aggies with Passwaters after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we're back in here, folks. We're back in here from the break of a number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday hump day. Crimson Tide taking on Texas A&M Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. CBS will have the call on the game. We go over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up my man Mark Passwaters, good friend of mine, Mark Passwaters, who covers the Aggies for AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. My man, what's going on? How you feeling?
Oh, just great. How can you feel any better after losing 2 games you should have won with a backup quarterback and offensive line that's been a mess. I mean, how could things possibly be better?
We got Mark Passwaters joining us on the line right now, talking Texas A&M, setting this up for this Bama Aggies matchup. So, Mark, I mean, first and foremost, at the running back position, therein lies Isaiah Spiller, who is a dynamic playmaker, a dynamic weapon, a guy that can get up and down the field. Alabama did have issues against Florida's run game in the swamp, tackling Malik Davis, Naquan Wright, and those guys. But, what does Isaiah Spiller bring this team, and how many carries or how many touches does he have to get in this game to kind of keep this game really interesting in Kyle Field?
Well, he needs to see the ball a lot. You're talking about, and I know that this is going to include Georgia in the SEC championship game. This is going to be the best running back Alabama sees all year. Isaiah Spiller is legit. And he proved that last weekend where he ripped off 114 yards on 15 carries against Mississippi State behind a new-look line. He's been an excellent receiver this year, caught the game-winning touchdown against Colorado. He is tough, he's physical, but he's also very elusive. You'll be really surprised to see how quick his feet are. And behind him is one of the other best backs in the SEC, and Devon Achane. This is a guy who averaged 8.8 yards a carry last year. He's averaging 6+ this year. And when you take a look at what those two guys have done behind a line that has been, to put it mildly, disappointing, it's extremely impressive.
If you're just tuning into the show here on a Wednesday, we're joined live by my man Mark Passwaters, who covers Texas A&M for AggieYale.com. That's AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. So, Mark, A&M they've always been able to recruit, marquee receivers, but here they've got a marquee tight end who's a matchup nightmare, and that's Jalen Werdemeyer. This is a guy that's going to be a first-round pick whenever he decides to come out for the NFL draft. And for A&M, what makes him such a matchup nightmare, a matchup problem, and how many matchups will Jimbo Fisher try to create with him and attack in this Alabama defense?
Well, he needs to do a lot more because Weidemeyer has not been much of a factor so far this season. They have not done a very good job getting him the football. And I think part of that is the fact that everybody in the world knows that they want to get him the football. So how often do you see a tight end get double teamed? And that's what's happening here. They'll bracket him. They'll go high-low, put a linebacker on him and have a safety come down. Anything they can do to prevent Weidemeyer from getting the ball. And then when the ball has been thrown his way, he's dropped quite a few. So it's been frustrating for him. But when he's on his game, he is fast, he is physical, and he's another one of those guys that you look at him and you're shocked at how good his footwork is. He can make guys miss in space. And when you're looking at a guy who's 6'5", 270, and he's making guys, that are giving up 70 pounds to him miss in the open field, that's really impressive. They have got to get him involved in the offense much, much more than he has been so far.
Jalen Werdemeyer, big-time tight end for the Texas A&M Aggies, trying to create some big things here offensively in this matchup against Alabama. We're joined here on the phone lines on a Wednesday, in my own words, with my man Mark Passwaters, who covers Texas A&M for AggieYale.com. That is AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. But switch this over to defense, Mark. The Aggies have a really good front. When you look at DeMarvin Leal, Jayden Peavy, Shamar Turner, they've got a very stout front, a solid front under defensive coordinator, Mike Elko. But what are they going to look to do defensively with the crowd, with the 12th man, to kind of harass, to kind of frustrate, to kind of bother, Bryce Young a little bit? Because Young, he had some adversity in the Florida matchup, but he handled it very, very well. This is a completely different atmosphere here at Kyle Field. What is Jimbo, or more importantly, what is Mike Elko trying to do with this front to really kind of get to Bryce Young a little bit?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of movement up front. They'll see stunts and twists and things of that sort, but you'll also see players move around. And by that I mean Leal will probably be on the outside as a defensive end in running situations, first down, second short, second mid, he'll be a defensive end. But when they're in a passing situation, he's going to move inside. You take him using his strength on the outside and then move him to the middle where you use his speed as the advantage. I mean, he's just an absolute freak. And on the other side is Michael Clemens, who I think is grossly underrated. He's a very, very good defensive end in his own right. He's been around since the Bush administration. I think this is his 6th season due to injuries and, getting the extra year. But he's making the most of it so far this year if he can stay healthy. And then Jaden Peavy's had a very good year. McKinley Jackson has been all right, coming in the place of Bobby Brown. One thing they just have to do is they've got to get a little more angry, play a little bit more physical, but at the same time remember their gap responsibilities because they have run themselves out of plays, and that has been a problem. They've got to get all that stuff right if they're going to slow down the Alabama running game, and then they're going to have to find something else, probably blitzes. I'm thinking Antonio Johnson, the nickel, Aaron Hansford and Edgerrin James, the linebackers. Those guys are going to have to come after Bryce Young in order to, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable and get him moving.
Last quick one here on our end as we got Mark Passwaters covering Texas A&M for AggieYale.com. When it comes to the quarterback position, what does it have to do in this matchup to kind of keep this thing as close as you possibly can? Prior to this game, in the offseason, the conversation was the matchup would be Alabama-Texas A&M as the SEC game of the year. The hype has kind of died down since then, Mark. But at the quarterback position, what is Jimbo Fisher hoping he can get from the quarterback?
Well, Johnny Manziel's going to be there this weekend, so hopefully he can suit up too. That would help. Outside of that, you're just looking for Zach Calzada to be consistent. That has been his problem. He's got a great arm. He can throw the ball a mile, but he is just terribly inconsistent, doesn't make the right reads all the time, overthrows open receivers. And not only that, recently, especially in the Arkansas game, if he got a little bit of pressure, he just kind of wilted, and he would start running when he didn't have to. He would hear footsteps when there weren't any there, and that caused a real big problem for the offense. So they need him to be steady, be confident, stay in the pocket, make the right reads, and then be accurate with the football. This has been really disappointing because A&M has been so incredibly banged up on both sides of the football, starting with Haynes King. If King is there and the Aggies stay healthy, this is the game of the year. But at this point right now, A&M's just trying to stay above water until King gets back.
He is Mark Passwaters, ladies and gentlemen, graciously joining us live here on the show on a Wednesday, breaking down Texas A&M taking us behind enemy lines here a little bit, getting us set up to see what to expect from the Aggies this weekend as the Tide will take on Texas A&M at Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. Mark, as always, my man, appreciate you coming on to give us this information on A&M. Take care of yourself, man. Stay safe. Be good. Try to enjoy the game on Saturday, brother.
I will do the best I can, but no guarantees.
Absolutely. Mark Passwaters right there talking Texas A&M football, getting it set up, sized up for Bama A&M. He actually said, hopeful that Johnny Manziel suits up for this matchup. I mean, the last time A&M was relevant, the last time A&M meant something to college football and in the SEC was when Johnny Manziel was the starting quarterback those 2 years, 2012 and 2013, and the magic he brought to Aggieland. But Johnny Manziel is not walking through that door with pants on. He's not walking through that door. So we will see what Texas A&M does, but we're going to take a break here on the show. Upon our return, we hop back into the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your interactions. We get a conversation popping with you, the Bama fans, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm going to be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
And we are rocking and rolling, folks. We're back in from the break of number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate my man Mark Passwaters in that recent interview there. Passwaters covering Texas A&M for AggieYale.com. That's AggieYale.com, part of the Rivals Network. Bama and the Aggies will square off Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. CBS Sports will have the call from Kyle Field, College Station, Texas, right there. Gotta shout out my man Jimmy Cash Money. Put it in the bag. Claim that $25 donation, helping us out here, showing us the love on the show. And we go to the phone lines now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. We grab a call right here. You are live on the show. It's popping. How you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Kyle from Foley, Alabama. And, with all due respect, Mr. Passwaters, This game, I don't even know why we're talking about this game. This game ain't going to be close. They got an offensive line that's banged up. They don't even throw it to that damn tight end. They don't use their running backs right. The receivers aren't going to be able to get open. Texas A&M has been a disaster. I don't know why they're paying Jimbo Fisher all this money. Can someone please, God, tell me why they're paying this man this much money? I could be the head coach. We could have the same record. I could be getting paid the same type of money. Jimbo Fisher is a disgrace. He shouldn't even be coaching in the SEC. He should be coaching over there probably in like Millbrook or over there in Hopeville, Alabama. That's where he should be coaching. This game will not be close. Alabama is going to roll into College Station on Saturday night, take that dog off that leash, and choke the living life out of that damn dog. It's going to be a blowout.
Kyle from Foley, man. Kyle from Foley with the call of the year right there, showing his thoughts there on Alabama, Texas A&M. We grab this call right here. You are live on the show on a Wednesday. What's going on? What's popping? How you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Well, hey there, Stephen. This is Alan from Colorado calling in, otherwise known as Plow Jogger.
All right, Al, what's happening, brother?
Hey, well, just got back from doctor's a little while ago, lost some more weight, feeling good about that, on top of everything else. But the football question that I got for you here is that in these first few games, things have kind of gone on the offense sort of the way we thought they would. Heavy run, timely throwing, protect the ball, don't turn it over, and so forth. But just watching it, what the ability of Jameson Williams and Latu and Billingsley, there at the tight end position stuff, just kind of wonder, when is Bill O'Brien going to really open this thing up and run some plays, to really get that. We've had a few big plays, that have been really exciting. But, boy, just get back that feeling we have when Smitty was out there and Waddle before he got hurt, that, man, just any minute, Bama could just bam at any place on the field. Man, they're just going to take it to the house. Just wondering if you had any thoughts on that.
Appreciate the call there from Al right there. I think this is the week that Bill O'Brien opens this thing up, right? This is the week because he's been building that balance. We saw it in the first quarter against Florida. We saw it a lot better against Southern Miss and against Ole Miss last week. But I think this is the week where O'Brien opens it up. He's starting to get really comfortable in the play calling. The offensive playmakers are starting to get comfortable with him and what he likes to do in his scheme and in his strategy. So I think this week you're going to start seeing more of those play action, more of those deep shots, more of those timing plays. When you look at John Mechie, Jamison Williams, Jaleel Billingsley, Cameron Latou, you're going to start to see more of those big play action, big open field timing like plays. I think O'Brien opens that playbook up